Okay, it's time for my top smartphone picks of the year 2016. A lot of people already made them, but I think the ones that I have on my list aren't the ones that you will see on most others, because this is not about the best phones, but the most memorable ones, the most kind of that had an impact on me, that impressed me in some way or something similar like that. And it will be a little bit off the cuff. I will make it quite quick because I want to go shopping. So let's start off with the 5 top picks, and what I have after that are actually best budget, best design, multimedia, and so on, some categories. But the top 5 right now won't be in a particular order. There is no number 1, number 2. These are just 5 phones that in some ways stood out for me this year. Starting off with the first one that I actually also own still, the Samsung Galaxy S7. And no, definitely, I'm not saying it's the best, and it's still not flawless by now or ever was, but especially now with the currently drop price, at least here in Germany, it's definitely still worth it, because it still has a great in-hand feel. Or if you maybe take the S7 Edge, it also still has an amazing display and pretty much one of the best ones if you like the Samsung calibration, or if you like the more normal one on the standard mode. Absolutely great. Speaker, in my opinion, is still amongst the better ones. Downfiring but loud enough, at least on the Snapdragon version. It might not be the case, but on the Exynos that I have, it seems to be that case, which seems also to have the better headphone sound, which in my opinion is actually quite good, especially compared to all the rest that I've used this year. Then performance is still quite good. I mean, okay, flagship level quite good, I mean, because it's still, in some certain apps, extremely super smooth, but there are some jerks and quirks here, especially, for example, if you use something like Naked Browser, it still jerks up a little bit, but overall experience is still absolutely top, and still can hold up with the better ones with even higher end chipsets by now, like the Snapdragon 821. No problems here. Battery life, a little bit mixed. I still like it a lot on Wi-Fi, but I absolutely don't like it so much on mobile data, because there it heats up. There has to be some kind of weak signal issue, because whenever I go out with this phone, it is always slightly warm in my pocket and it drains quite heavy. So it's definitely not for road warriors who are out there. If you use it mostly or in mixed use, something like that, it works. But mobile data battery life is definitely not its strength. Software I still absolutely love, and since we should get Nougat soon, should be even better. And then after all, it still is one of the best cameras out there. Can't say anything else. Now let's get to the next one, the Huawei P9 Lite. You would say, why is this such a mid-ranger? This phone stood out for me in such a way because it was so close to its actual flagship brother, the P9. Great build. It was a little bit bigger than the P9, but still very elegant and very well made, and a great in-hand feel. A top display, not really any worse if you wouldn't have it in a side-by-side comparison to the P9. The speaker was pretty much the same. The performance was also back then and still is on a very good level. Even in my revisit review, I was actually surprised how well it still held up with all the rest. Battery life was noticeably better than on the P9 itself. Software is what it is, but once it gets EMUI 5, it should be really good, because I like the smaller change, but there are a few things that I don't like so much about EMUI 5, which I maybe should make a video about it, but maybe not necessary. But software is solid enough by these days. There are a few changes that they made with MIUI 5 that should come hopefully soon, that will make it even a nicer phone. And then the camera, which was actually very good for stills back then, not so great for videos. That is still the case. Next phone, ZTE Axon 7. And I just have to have it in my list, because I wouldn't have called it otherwise wrongfully the best phablet or my favorite phablet, because it still is the case. It was the first phablet that I really liked the in-hand feel. The display is gorgeous, the speakers are amazing, battery life are actually quite good, performance was top-notch, pretty much like a Pixel or something like that. It can hold up with easy. All the other flagships, software was, I actually liked some things, but there are a few quirks maybe so on, but I guess by now they actually should be fixed. I've heard that from other comments, so great. And the camera was actually, in my opinion, really good. A lot of people complain about the camera not being good. I think it was very good. Totally fine. The next one, Lenovo P2. I just had to have this in my list as well. After all, I called it just recently my favorite phone of 2016. And this is not because it's the most performant one, the best display, best sound or something like that. No, it's just because the overall package for this price is really great. Because you pay right now about 320 euros, and about 12, 14 hours, 12, 14 maybe 14 hours of screen on time in mixed use over multiple days with a top performance, a really great display, good speaker, maybe not the headphone jack sound so much, and the in and feel for a big device actually quite nice. The camera felt a little bit short, but I've showed this in another video that if you use a different camera app, you can actually improve it, and that's what makes it such a great complete package for me. And then, kind of to be called out last, the Honor 8 for one main reason. It was pretty much not just the Huawei P9, but an enhanced P9. Because usually Honor is a little bit inferior to Huawei. I have to say this time not, because in my opinion it actually performed better. It felt nice in the hand, even though I think maybe a little bit bigger, but I like a glass-on-glass design. That's personal preference, of course. I guess I mean I get that. Display was pretty much the same. Speaker was pretty much the same. I think the headphone jack was even better, if I remember that correctly. Battery life, for me, for some reason, even though some disagree, but I guess most do agree with me, was noticeably better, which made a huge impact. And then the camera was pretty much the same. So this makes it not just better, because it also had the fingerprint reader, that was also a button, and the IR blaster, but it was also cheaper. And not just that, because right before Christmas you could get it sometimes due to the cashback and some, like for 300 or even 280. No brainer. There is no better phone at around 300, and even for its full price, which I'm not sure what it is right now, I would say maybe like 350, 360. It is pretty much the best overall package. It is flashy. It's not a big one. Amazing. That have to. Everyone who likes this device likes it for a good reason. Yeah. Even though I think the reviews are a little bit to be seen cautious, because a lot of people just got it for free, especially the smaller YouTubers. They have a little bit of an easier time recommending it because they got it for free. That's always a little bit of something that I would be hesitant about. Okay, now let's get to my categories. I have 6 of them. Best budget, best design, best multimedia, best battery, best camera, and best compact phone. Now let's start off with the best budget phone. That, in my opinion, is pretty sure, even though I actually haven't fully reviewed it already, but I can tell this right now, the Xiaomi Redmi 4 Prime. It costs about 170 euros, I guess dollar-wise pretty much the same. Has an amazing in-hand feel. It's a little bit on the chunky but premium hefty side, which is something I love. The display is super nice. Sound is actually absolutely good enough. Headphone jack, haven't actually think I've tried yet. Performance is really good so far. Battery life must be good because it has the Snapdragon 625. That one is known to be super efficient, and it has a big battery. Software so far, I like it. There is still one quirk with a personal thing like Smart Test Launcher that I have to get used to, but yeah. But so far, I haven't used any device at this price range this year that would come even close. Maybe there are some similar ones, also Chinese phones, because what else should it be if we talk about budget? Because there you just get by far the best hardware design and so on, and really good specs, and usually it's the software that craps out. But MIUI 8 at that point right now is actually totally solid, and it just has to be this phone. I don't think anything else that I've reviewed is still able, because it can't really mess up anymore after what I already know about it. So, best design. This is something that I'm so disappointed in, that Google didn't use Huawei for their Pixel phones, because then the Huawei Nova, I'm pretty sure, would have been the Google Pixel, not the Pixel that we have now. This phone, it feels so incredibly premium and amazing, and I would have just wished to have seen that with high-end specs and a software that doesn't tweak the scrolling, which is something by now that I don't like so much about Huawei anymore, or Honor. Okay, best multimedia device, ZTX and 7, no doubt about that. It has a big 5.5-inch display, which is calibrated gorgeously, high quality, sharp AMOLED blacks, amazing. And actually, if you want the proper profile, not even oversaturated extremely, so really great. And then by far the best speaker system, and with really good headphone jack quality as well. There is nothing that in that combo comes even close this year. Okay, then we have best battery. Definitely quite easy, the Lenovo P2. Maybe, but I doubt it, the Xiaomi Redmi 4 Prime could even take that, but I don't think so, because this is so strong. Like I said, maybe the Xiaomi, because it has also very big battery, and it has a smaller footprint, smaller display, but the optimization on Lenovo side was really good, so I'm pretty sure this will be it. And then we have the best camera, which most expectedly could be the Samsung Galaxy A7, but I actually won't give it that. Why? I will give it to the Pixel. Just because I found it to be even of a nice experience, because it is a very straightforward, easy to use camera, because you don't really have too much manual controls, which of course if you want that, something like a maybe LG V20 or Samsung Galaxy S7 will give you better. But I like to just point, shoot, don't have to worry about it, and the results are not just great, they're very natural, very realistic, very sharp. The video was amazing and low light capabilities were great. So Samsung Galaxy S7 still legit and could be as well of place number one, or maybe something else, but this is just the one that stood out for me as the most convenient to use, amazing camera. And then best compact phone, which is not really that surprising, the Xperia X Compact. It was, in my opinion, a big step forward compared to others. A lot of people still say something like the Z5 Compact is the flagship compact phone, but I disagree. I found the X Compact to have noticeably better battery life, performance was even better, it felt way nicer in the hand to me, camera was very similar, software of course pretty much the same, but that's why it's that. Okay, I've covered it. I hope you are okay with that list, and if not, let me know what your topics are and what your best categories are and so on. Of course, like I said, this is very subjective, and this is just a list of phones that stood out in some way. I've definitely, as I said, not picked those because they are the very best ones, because there are so many lists that kind of are all the same, and I think mine is pretty different. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video and you know what to do. Otherwise, have a nice day. Bye.